whether it is possible. So today we will be discussing iodine deficiency. But before I start iodine deficiency, let us discuss a little bit about our last topic that we were discussing, I think, hypothyroidism. Since this both diseases, they are the affection of same gland and same hormone, so there are few similarities as per symptoms are concerned, but still they are studied under two heads. So you may have some confusion. Hypothyroidism and iodine deficiency are same, but there are differences, and that is why it is studied under two heads. One, we are studying hypothyroidism, and other we are studying under the heading of iodine deficiency. Though they are having little bit similarity, but still a lot of difference is there. So before going to discuss this iodine deficiency, I would like to tell you what are the basic differences between hypothyroidism and iodine deficiency. So hypothyroidism, when we discussed in last class, I told you it is the affection of hypothalamic pituitary thyroid axis. That is a physiological axis, and the hypothalamus affects the function of pituitary, and pituitary affects the function of thyroid gland, and that is how they are related to each other, and it forms a physiological axis that is called hypothalamic pituitary thyroid axis. So it is, if the affection of hypothalamus or the pituitary or the thyroid gland, it leads to hypothyroidism. But here, that axis is normal in case of iodine deficiency. They are not pathologically changed. There are no affection of those things. Either it is pituitary or thyroid or it is hypothalamus. But since iodine is not available, which is the raw material for the synthesis of thyroxine hormone, and that is why the condition develops. So that is why it is different from the hypothyroidism. So that is a pathological affection of the axis. Here, everything is normal, the whole axis, hypothalamus, pituitary, and the thyroid gland. But the raw material is not available. That is why the condition develops. So this is the basic difference. One more difference I would like to discuss with you is, in hypothyroidism, the changes are irreversible. Whether it is the affection of thyroid gland itself, that is autoimmune, you can say, the affection, or the atrophy of the thyroid gland that I was discussing in last class, or if it is the affection of pituitary, or if it is the affection of hypothalamus, those are irreversible. You cannot cure it, you cannot correct it. So hypothyroidism is irreversible, you can say, the change of the function of the gland. So while discussing the treatment of hypothyroidism, I told you that lifelong you are to feed. Hey, who is this? Ved Prakash. कौन किसकी आवाज आ रही है? What nonsense you are doing, yeah? Mute your mic, please. So this is nonsense, yeah. You people are. So I was discussing the changes in hypothyroidism is irreversible, and that is why while discussing treatment, I told you that you are to treat the animal lifelong. You will have to supplement exogenous thyroid hormone or thyroxine hormone throughout the life of the animal. You cannot correct the condition. You just manage it. But as per iodine deficiency is concerned, we can cure it. It is reversible. Whatever changes take place, it is reversible. Once you supplement the iodine, it will be normal. The gland will be normal, everything will be normal. Again, another difference is, while discussing hypothyroidism, I told you that it is the disease of especially canines, while the iodine deficiency is disease of livestock. Sheep, goat, cattle, horse, pig, all the livestock, you can say, they are suffering from iodine deficiency. So with this, with this basic background, I think now it won't create you a confusion. There are some more differences we will be discussing later on. We can start now the iodine deficiency. So as you know, iodine is a trace mineral, And its deficiency means the animal is not getting it in the amount which should which is required for the animal for normal physiological function. So that is called as deficiency. So iodine deficiency in livestock is manifested by enlargement of thyroid gland. So this abnormal enlargement of thyroid gland is the most important clinical sign of the iodine deficiency. And this enlargement is otherwise known as goiter. So goiter is nothing but it is abnormal enlargement of thyroid gland, and it is because of iodine deficiency. Now coming to etiology of the iodine deficiency, as the etiology of other deficiency, mineral deficiency, as we have studied already, there are also, it is of two types. One is primary, if the diet is deficient in iodine, and it is secondary, if the diet is having the sufficient amount of iodine, but its bioavailability or utilization is being hampered by the presence of some other factors. So as per iodine deficiency or secondary deficiency of iodine is concerned, the factors which are responsible for the secondary iodine deficiency, those are excessive intake of calcium. It hampers the bioavailability as well as the absorption of iodine. Second factor is if you are feeding the animal excessively the brassica plants like white clover or linseed cake, they also affect the iodine utilization and bioavailability. So they are also a factor. And if you are feeding them the plants which are having the mimosine. So one most important fodder or which is used in livestock, that is subabul, you might have studied in LPM as well as in nutrition. It contains mimosine. So if you are feeding excessive subabul, it also leads to iodine deficiency. So these are the basic etiology of iodine deficiency. As per epidemiology is concerned, disease is not found throughout the India. There are several pockets where iodine deficiency is found in animals, and especially the heavy rainfall areas where leaching of the soil occurs and the soil becomes deficient of iodine. And in those areas, the animal fed on forage which are grown on that soil, which are deficient in iodine concentration, those animals, they suffer from this disease. As per species are concerned, horse, cattle, as I told you, goats, sheep, pigs, every livestock you can say, they are suffering from this disease. So they are prone to have this disease. Coming to pathogenesis, if there is deficiency of iodine, whether it is primary or secondary, so it will lead to decrease in the synthesis and secretion of thyroxine hormone, because iodine is the raw material for the synthesis of thyroxine hormone. And when in body there will be less concentration of thyroxine hormone, there is a feedback mechanism which will stimulate the pituitary to secrete more and more thyroid stimulating hormone, that is otherwise also known as thyrotropic hormone. So pituitary will stimulate because there is decrease in the synthesis as well as secretion of thyroxine hormone from the thyroid gland. So body is feeling that deficiency of that hormone. And because of that deficiency, there is a feedback mechanism. Body will try to cope up with the condition and the pituitary will be stimulated. And in order to the stimulation, it will cause secretion of thyroid stimulating hormone. So this thyroid stimulating hormone, it will cause the hyperplasia of thyroid gland. Under the influence of excessive thyroid stimulating hormone, it will cause the hyperplasia of thyroid gland. And this hyperplasia of thyroid gland leads to enlargement of the gland, and which is known as goiter. So this enlargement is known as goiter. So that is how deficiency of iodine leads to goiter. So am I clear as per pathogenesis is concerned?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Now, coming to the clinical findings, there you may get the similarities and you may get confusion. But the what is the whatever the basic difference was there, I told you. Few more are there, I will discuss later on. So definitely, if there is reduction in the thyroid hormone or thyroxine hormone, the animal will be weak and lethargic. It is related to the metabolism. The face is generally blunt and large, rough body coat, edema in the dependent part, you can say the lower limbs as well as the ventral abdomen, reduced milk yield. In females, especially, there will be silent stress, abortion, stillbirth. If the calf is uh, not dead at the time of birth, it will be weak. In sheep, goat, and pigs, alopecia, generalized alopecia is the most significant lesion. So there are two terms, abortion and stillbirth. Can you tell me what is the difference between abortion and stillbirth? Anyone?
Extension of date there is before the completion of the gestation period.
No,
In
once more, please.
abortion,
I'm unable to hear you. What is abortion?
extension of date fetus before the completion of gestation period.
Yes, you
Called
are right.
abortion.
Okay, okay, you are right. So this is the difference between abortion and stillbirth. You should know that. So these are the clinical manifestation of the iodine deficiency. As per diagnosis is concerned, clinical signs are important. You can estimate the iodine concentration of serum or plasma. That will reveal the confirmatory diagnosis. And other important thing in diagnosing the iodine deficiency as well as differentiating it from hypothyroidism is the ratio of T3 and T4. So normally the T4 used to be higher in concentration. So T4 to T3 ratio, the normal ratio is 13 is to 1 or 20 is to 1. There is a range either from 13 is to 1 to 20 is to 1. But if it is a iodine deficiency, it will be reversed. Normally T4 used to be higher, but if there is iodine deficiency, T3 will be in higher concentration. And hypothyroidism will be there, no doubt that the total amount of hormone will be less than the normal, but the ratio is reversed in this case. While the hypothyroidism is concerned, in that case, ratio will remain the same, though the total amount of hormone is reduced. But here the ratio is important. I do not remember the name, but someone asked me about the ratio in last class. That was the hypothyroidism. So for her, it is important to know that in iodine deficiency, this ratio is important. And here the ratio is reversed. Normally T4 used to be more. I told you T4 is to T3 ratio is 13 is to 1 to 20 is to 1 in normal condition. But in this case, iodine deficiency, T3 will be higher. So it will be reversed. 20:1 की जगह हो सकता है 4 मींस ये T4 कम हो और वो ज्यादा हो, तो T4 कम हो जाता है, T3 ज्यादा होता है इसमें, नॉर्मली T4 ज्यादा होता है. So reverse ratio is the indicative of iodine deficiency. So this is the basis of diagnosis, how we can diagnose the iodine deficiency. As per treatment is concerned, you know the deficiency diseases can be treated just by supplementation. So we should know the dose little bit, and that is important. So in case of EVES, if you want to prevent the iodine deficiency and pregnant condition, so 280 milligram per head potassium iodide is fed once and it will resolve the situation. The EVES will not suffer from iodine deficiency. In case of lambs, if they are suffering from goiter, if disease is already there, goiter has already taken place, in that case, you can feed 20 milligram potassium iodide orally once till the condition subsides. So you can ask how many days we can feed it. So till the condition subsides, till the gland gets normal. So there will be swelling of the gland. When it gets normal, you stop feeding that. The animal will be all right. Then in case of buffalo, there is a practice. They used to paint 5% tincture iodine in the flank region. And the dairy cattle buffalo, they used to lick it, and thereby their demand is fulfilled. So it is also a method of preventing iodine deficiency. There are some intraruminal boluses. They are available in the market. You can feed it once and they will be releasing iodine for a longer time. The one bolus can work for at least 6 months. So this is another way. Otherwise, if you are supplementing the mineral mixture on the regular basis, this disease will not occur. So that's all about the treatment. So that's all about the iodine deficiency also. So if anything is there, you can ask. You are welcome to ask.
सर आयोडीन डेफिशिएंसी से एडिमा क्यों हो जाता है सर?
एडिमा एक्चुअली क्या है कि बॉडी का जब मेटाबॉलिज्म डाउन हो जाता है, सप्रेस हो जाता है, देयर वोंट बी सिंथेसिस ऑफ एनीथिंग एंड द मेटाबॉलिक प्रोसेस में ही प्रोटीन की सिंथेसिस भी आती है. तो एडिमा का जो कॉज है वो तो यही है कि हाइपोप्रोटीनीमिया होगी तभी एडिमा होगा. देयर इज नो अदर वे ऑफ बीइंग एडिमेटस. So since metabolism is at the bottom, there is less synthesis of protein, and that is how animal is getting edematous. So hypoproteinemia is only cause of edema, but since this hormone is responsible for the normal metabolism, and deficiency of this hormone will lead to reduction in the metabolism, and thereby the protein synthesis will also be hampered, and that is how edema occurs.
Thank you, sir.
Anything else?
Sir, hypothyroidism is also known as goiter.
No. Goiter is a excessive enlargement of thyroid gland.
सर हम लोग इंटर में थे तो उस समय पढ़ते थे कि पूछा जाता था कि गोइटर कैसे होता था. हाइपरथायराइडिज्म में उसमें ऑप्शंस होते थे.
में थे तो उनको इतना डिफरेंशिएट नहीं करना था. नाउ यू आर ए वेटरिनरी 4th year स्टूडेंट एंड अ क्लिनिशियन. नाउ यू आर टू ट्रीट इट. इंटरमीडिएट बेसिस पे वो चीज.
सर तो उसका एक कॉज हो सकता है ना सर?
क्या
गोइटर का कॉज हो सकता है ना हाइपोथायराइडिज्म?
No. Goiter is abnormal enlargement of thyroid gland. That condition is goiter. उसके बाद की कंडीशन हाइपोथायराइडिज्म हो सकती है. Goiter is not the hypothyroidism. Don't mess with it. जो ग्लैंड स्वेलिंग हो जाती है उसी कंडीशन को खाली गोइटर कहते हैं. If it is swollen, it is goiter. That's it. Try to understand the thing. Hypothyroid.
सर बुक में तो लिखा
है
सर इस पैथोजेनेसिस वाले बुक क्या नाम है आईसीआर वाले बुक में पैथोजेनेसिस में तो सर लिखा हुआ है
क्या
कि
लिखा हुआ है?
हाइपोथायराइडिज्म ड्यूरिंग प्रेगनेंसी कॉज डिफेक्टिव फॉर्मेशन ऑफ ब्रेन स्टेम कॉर्टिकल लिखा हुआ है सर.
क्या लिखा हुआ
थोड़ा
है?
एक बार देख लीजिएगा सर.
बोलो क्या लिखा हुआ है? गोइटर इज नोन एज हाइपोथायराइडिज्म.
नो सर ये नहीं लिखा हुआ है.
तो व्हाई यू आर सेइंग दिस?
बट उसको उसमें लिखा हुआ है सर हाइपोथायराइडिज्म. सर ठीक है छोड़िए.
नहीं बताओ. Don't misinterpret it. I am saying since the gland is getting affected, raw material is not available. That is why synthesis of hormone is not occurring. Definitely there will be hypothyroidism. But goiter is known as hypothyroidism is wrong. It is not hypothyroidism. It is excessive enlargement of the gland that is called goiter. I am saying there are similarities and difference between the two diseases, and that is why I discussed in the earlier before starting my lecture. So you should not mess with it. There are similarities. Similarities are because the same gland is affected, same hormone is getting affected. That is why condition may be similar, but these are different things. Goiter is not known as hypothyroidism, but goiter can lead to hypothyroidism. You understand my point?
Okay, sir.
It is a condition of enlargement of gland. That's it. As simple as that. What is goiter? Goiter is excessive enlargement of thyroid gland. And this excessive enlargement occurs because of iodine deficiency under the influence of pituitary hormone. So goiter is hypothyroidism, it is wrong. But if I say goiter may leads to hypothyroidism, it is correct. So hypothyroidism means क्या? Concentration of that hormone is less. That is a condition only. लेकिन ये जो goiter है ये इसके enlargement को reveal करता है. तो दोनों चीजें अलग हैं, उनको mesh मत करिए. आर यू क्लियर विद दिस? कौन था? हेलो, कहाँ गया बुक पढ़ने? हेलो।